Entitled mother kills her child and ruins the career of my sister-in-law. First of all, it is a long and horrible story, so apologies in advance. Second, English is not my first language, so pardon any mistakes that I make. This happened in August 2017 and involves two lengthy lawsuits, one of which lasted 1.5 years and another almost 2 years. I am not directly involved in it, as it happened to my sister-in-law. Back in 2017, my sister and in-law, sister-in-law for short, was in her final year for nursing school. She was required to intern as a trainee nurse for 6 months. She chose to join a private school for her internship. It was one of those international private schools where kids of ultra-rich parents go. Part 1. The Incident. 15th of August is India's Independence Day, and there was a celebration in the school. It was your usual flag ceremony, which flag march by students and student band, some plays by students depicting events of freedom movement, some cultural exhibition put together by each class, food and game stalls by teacher, etc. At the end of the day, top 3 class performances, plays and cultural exhibitions were awarded, and select students were given Certificate of Excellence for outstanding performances. Everything was going normal in the beginning, but a student collapsed during the parade, so he was brought into the doctor's office. The doctor checked him and found out that he was running a moderate fever. He was also slightly dehydrated, so the doctor gave him some medicines, asked my sister-in-law to give him a glass of glucose water. He scolded the kid for participating in the parade while in fever and wrote him a note excusing him from any further activity. He then asked the kid if his parents were present, and the kid said that his mother was there. So doctor told him he could go home if he wanted, or he could sit in the shade with his mother to watch the rest of the ceremony. The kid asked if he could just stay there and rest for a while, so the doctor said that he could use one of the beds to take a nap. Since there was nothing else to do in the office, the doctor excused himself to go and have something to eat from the stalls, leaving my sister-in-law and a janitor in the office. Hardly 5 minutes later, the mother, who is the entitled mother, marched into the office and went directly to check on her child. My sister-in-law tried to tell her that the kid was running a fever and taking a nap, but entitled mother ignored her. She took the kid and asked him how he was feeling. The kid said, "Fine." Entitled mother said, "Good, now get up. You gotta get ready for your play, sweetie. Everyone is already dressed up." My sister-in-law again tried to explain, "He's running a fever. He wants to rest." Entitled mother replied, "Oh, it's fine. He is fine, aren't you, sweetie?" The kid just looked at my sister-in-law. Sister-in-law said, "The doctor has excused him from other activities. It would be better if you just take him home and let him rest." Entitled mother said, "It is just a play. I'm sure my sweetie can handle it. He is a tough man. Isn't that right, sweetie?" Sister-in-law tried again. "It would be better for him to just rest. He is still under fever." And with that, entitled mother lost her mind. She screamed to my sister-in-law's face, "Oh, you know what's better for him? I'm his mother. I know what's best for him. How dare you? My son is the topper of his class. He is playing the most important part in the play. He is the best. If he doesn't participate in the play, he will not get the Certificate of Excellence. He needs to stay at the top of everything, or else he'll become a laughing stock. So don't you dare tell me what's better for him." The kid, seeing his mother losing her mind, stood up and said to my sister-in-law with a smile, "It's okay, sister. I'm fine. Thanks for caring for me." Shocked and stunned, my sister-in-law only managed to say, "Let me call the doctor." Entitled mother retorted, "I come from a family of doctors. My father is the director of a well-known private hospital. You people aren't even qualified enough to work in a hospital." Ha! She grabbed the arm of her child and marched away. My sister-in-law called the doctor, who said, "Well, it is her child. What can we do? We did our part." And about an hour later, the same kid was rushed in again, as he collapsed again during the play. The doctor checked on him, gave him an injection, and asked him to be transferred to a hospital immediately, as the kid was unconscious and not responding. An ambulance was called, and kid was taken to the hospital. The day ended without any other incident. 2 days later, the school learned that the kid passed away in the hospital. My sister-in-law was distraught upon hearing the news. She kept crying for the rest of the day. She kept saying how it was her fault and how she could have prevented it if she stood her ground. How the kid smiled at her and thanked her for caring for him. We told her that it was not her fault and consoled her to the best of our abilities. Even her professor from nursing school came and tried to make her feel better. About a week later, she informed the school was opening an inquiry and a board of inquiry will look into the matter and that she will be called for interview. The doctor assured her that it was just a formality for school to cover all the bases, and she didn't need to worry about it. In her interview, she stated everything that happened. She was then asked why she felt it was her fault, as she said so to the class teacher of the kid in her crying fit. She explained that at the time she was overwhelmed by emotions and thought she could have done things differently. She was asked if there was anyone who will corroborate her story, and she named the janitor who was present in the office at the time. She was then informed that she was placed under suspension until the inquiry concludes. When she went back to collect her things from the office, the doctor once again assured her that there was nothing to worry about. He will make sure that no harm will come to her. Few days later, she received a letter from the school that they concluded the investigation and found her guilty of negligence, and thus her contract was terminated. She called the school supervisor, who informed her that her story did not match the story told by the doctor and the janitor, thus there was nothing that can be done. Termination of contract meant that she can't complete her final term on time, so she put the application for extension to the nursing school. She thought it was over, but boy were we in for a bomb dropped on us. A few days later, 2 cops knocked on the door of my father-in-law and asked to speak to my sister-in-law. They informed them that the family of the kid filed an FIR, First Incident Report, against my sister-in-law. They accused her to cause the death of the kid. They asked if they can question her, but my father-in-law denied and told them they can only question her in the presence of a lawyer. So the cop asked her to come to police station the next day for the questioning. We got the lawyer immediately, who at first called the cops and asked for a later date to be set for the question. Then he told us to get an anticipatory bail ASAP, in case police decides to arrest her, so we did. In the questioning, the lawyer talked for the most part. He provided them with a written statement of my sister-in-law. The police asked their questions and directed my sister-in-law to not leave the state without informing them first, etc., etc. Few more days go by, and she received a summons from the court as the state decided to try her for the crime. The lawyer suggested to track down and speak to the janitor, as he was the only witness in the otherwise she said case. And so we did. The janitor was reluctant to talk at first, but after my sister-in-law begged him, he told us that the doctor told him that if he told the truth, he would be admitting to the same mistake that the nurse did and will be fired for sure. And the only way to save himself was to tell the story that the doctor was telling him. The story the doctor told the school's board of inquiry was that the doctor had the kid under observation with the strict instruction that he would not be released under any circumstance, and that my sister-in-law released the kid without asking or informing him. We asked him to testify in the court, which at first he refused, but later agreed with a bit of persuasion. Once we had the janitor on our side, the lawyer also filed a case of wrongful termination against the school, accusing the inquiry to be partial and biased. Once the court hearing started, we learned that the entitled mother told white lies to the father of the kid. She never told him that she forced the kid to perform in the play. Instead, she said the kid wanted to play his part. She also hid the fact that the nurse objected, and showed her the doctor's note. Her story was that the kid wanted to participate in the play, and when she asked the nurse said everything was fine and that he could play his part. The case went on for a year and a half. Janitor provided his testimony, which the prosecution tried to discredit, saying that he told a different story during the school inquiry, so he was not a reliable witness. But the judge refused, taking note that the doctor tried to intimidate him, and in turn asked the prosecution if they investigated the doctor's part in the incident, as to why he forced the janitor to lie, and why was he not present during his duty hours. When prosecution replied in negative, the judge asked police to file a case against the school doctor. During her stand, My sister-in-law got very emotional and started crying as she recounted the events of that entire day. The only witness prosecution had was child's mother, who couldn't keep her story straight during cross-questioning. Finally, the judgment court ruled in my sister-in-law's favor, noting that prosecution's witness had massive holes in her story while defendant provided a solid witness. He also noted that even if the prosecution was to be believed, defendant, being only a trainee nurse, wasn't even qualified to release the student, and by taking the kid away without the doctor's express opinion, the responsibility of consequences fell on the mother of the child. He also commented on school's management. By not having a fully qualified nurse, they were in violation of federal laws. He scolded the prosecution for having a tunnel vision and going after defendant, who was obviously innocent and a vulnerable young girl herself. After the court ruled in our favor, the school decided to settle the wrongful termination case. It was finalized last month, and we can finally put it all behind us. However, due to all the emotional distress and trauma, my sister-in-law decided to drop out of nursing school, thus ending her dreams of becoming a nurse. She will probably join an honors course next year, but right now she is still troubled with the nightmares of going to jail and needs therapy to get over it. The police have opened a fresh case against the doctor, who was let go from the school this year. He was also being investigated by the state's medical association for wrongdoings. If found guilty, he will be barred from practice. We have no information on entitled mother or her husband. Edit 2. Wow, this blew up. I was not expecting it to get this much attention, given the horribleness of the story. Thank you for all the support and love you have given. Kind Redditors who gave me platinum, gold, and silver, thank you for your generosity. And finally, to all the people who are looking and searching for news reports or asking for one, as I said in one of the comments, it did make it to local news, but I will not provide any link, or give even a remotely identifying detail, because the information in the news can be used to track and dox my sister-in-law. She already had a crap load of crap to deal with, many of her peers just assuming her guilt. She is having a lot of trouble dealing with the fallout of this entire episode. She is afraid of even stepping out of the house, and she is having frequent nightmares of going to jail. I really do not care whether you believe this story or not, but do not ask me which state it took place or any other detail. I purposefully kept the details in the story as vague as possible. Hope you understand. Thank you once again. And our next story was posted by user Palm Unzer, titled, Entitled Mother Demands a Slushie. So, while I was a senior in high school, I worked in a Kmart for the Christmas season. One night at about 10:30 p.m, right before closing, a mother and daughter walk in. The daughter looked like she was in pain, and the mother makes a beeline for me. Entitled Mother, Excuse me, can my daughter have a slushie? A bit of context. The Kmart that I worked at was one that had a pizza chain in it that when open served slushies. Me, I'm sorry, I don't work for pizza chains, so I can't get you a slushie. My daughter just had her wisdom teeth pulled and needs a slushie to help with the pain. I knew that it would make her daughter's situation a bit worse by causing a dry socket, plus the only pizza chain employees were allowed to turn on the slushie machine or any beverage machine in their section. I can try, but like I said, I'm not authorized to turn on the machine. Just try. I proceed to grab a cup and find a way to turn on the machine. Actually, I was just going through the motions. I'm sorry, I can't find a way to turn on the machine. Well, can you at least get her a soda or water? My daughter is in pain. I told you already that only pizza chain employees can turn on the machine in their area, and they're closed. You're welcome to buy a bottle of water before we close. My daughter is in pain from her surgery and wants a slushie. If you can't get her one, I will tell your manager. My manager arrives after seeing this on the cameras, wondering why I haven't finished my closing duties yet. Asks me what's going on. Your employee won't get my daughter a slushie. Manager, well, he's not authorized to turn on the machine, since only pizza chain employees can do it, and they're closed at this time. The daughter and entitled mother walk out in a big huff. I felt sorry for the daughter at this time. Some people's parents, man. And our next story was posted by user Mystery Mechanics, titled, Fighting games are not for girls. So this happened a while ago with my auntie. Since it is the end of the year, and I'm moving up to high school next year and won't be attending the same school, my mum said I could stay at home if I wanted to. I decided to just take a bit of time off and play some Xbox. A friend of mine lent me Mortal Kombat 9, so I decided to just play against the CPU. Entitled Auntie paid us a surprise visit during the time I was playing, and right at the moment she sat down, Scorpion ripped Melina's spine out. She was horrified when she saw this and gasped in horror, and then turned to me. "Why would you watch such a disgusting thing?" "It's just a game." My mum walked in and asked what was happening. "Why are you letting your daughter play things like this? It's violent and it's not suitable for a girl." "Mum, she enjoys it and it's not hurting anyone in real life, it's virtual." "Either way, fighting is not for girls to watch or do themselves." "Mum, boys should not fight either. Fighting in general is not okay." Auntie, "Boys fight all the time. It's normal. For girls, it's not though. It makes them look rowdy and irresponsible." Entitled Auntie, "I understand, but it's only a game." "Yes, but it's a fighting game, and that's for boys. My daughter has Barbie games on her tablet that are much better for girls." Me, "Auntie, I'm 13. I'm not a little girl anymore." My mum cut the argument short by asking the auntie to please stop forcing her point across. She left not too long after. My mum and I had a good laugh. I'm not sure if she's entitled or just ignorant, so if this doesn't belong here, let me know. And our next story was posted by user Tecto889, titled, "Entitled Mother is Immediately Shut Down." So, for the backstory, I was at a cinema and I had front row tickets. I was watching the second Maleficent. I think it's Maleficent Mistress of Evil, but that is irrelevant to the story. I had popcorn, but that is also irrelevant. I was sitting next to a family with a whole shebang of kids, parents and grandparents. Entitled Mother walks in with her kid and sees me and the person on the other side of me who is a girl my age, and she walks up to us. Entitled Mother, "You two need to move out of our seats." Me, "Well, this is my seat, so no." Girl, "Same here." Entitled Mother, "Move now!" Already impatient, like 10 seconds? Me, "I'll pass." Entitled Mother, "Has no one taught you to respect your elders?" The presumably grandma next to me asks to see my ticket and sees it's my seat. She asks the same of the girl next to me, and same outcome. She then turns to Entitled Mother. Grandma, "Leave these two alone. They're sitting in their seats." Entitled Mother, "Who asked for your opinion, you archaic piece of crap?" Grandma, "I believe you said to respect your elders, and I am certainly your elder." Entitled Mother goes red and turns on her heels and stomps off to her seat, which is only one row back. Wow. And our next story was posted by user Capital Replacement 0, titled, "Given your size, ma'am, I'm sure you're still hungry." The waiter to my entitled adoptive mother. I want to tell you another story of my entitled adoptive mother. No, this time it's not to mess with the psyche or mental space, just my wallet. So this took place on one of my biggest eventful days of my life, my graduation. No, this did not happen recently, so you can rest assured that she no longer has any holds of me or any ties with me. Pretext. I graduated early, but was earning not so much as my entitled adoptive mother. The moment I was getting paychecks and helping around the house, and giving my money away to the family, she would pretend to be sick so she'd take a week or two off without pay. She would just lie around the house and not do anything. I asked her about this, and she told me she was allowed to do so, and not needed to work since I was giving her money and earning an income. Okay, here is the story. On my graduation day, it was hot and boring for those who were not going to receive any qualifications or any degree. The relatives and friends who came to attend the ceremony would act as standby for these graduates to go in and come out. They would be there as a personal staff, I guess, to help out carrying all the things that our graduation gowns could not. It was hot, and the graduates were the only people with black gowns, So sun beaming plus black gowns equals certain people would have passed out for sure. Anyway, that was not the point of the story. So while we were waiting for it to be my faculty's turn to go into the auditorium, my family, my adoptive mother plus father, my grandmother, my aunt, cousin, and the photographer were complaining that they were hungry, including the photographer. I proposed to them an idea that I would pay for everyone's lunch because they were all there for me. I graduated early so I could work a little bit, but I was not earning much since I was only 3 months into the job. I would be earning about $500 per month and give the rest of my family about $66. On this day, I was left with $236. Therefore, everyone suggested a cheap restaurant nearby so we wouldn't have to travel far. Or did we have to waste my money? Not my adoptive mother, obviously. She has a brilliant idea. Capital Replacement took me to one of this exotic restaurants. It has the local food too. Everyone gets to eat anything they like. I did not object. I couldn't think of a proper place to eat, so whatever she said, plus the heat, I just went whatever with it. So she took us to this Israeli place that I would often go to with my friends and my cousin. My family went in, and they were weirded out at first, given the prices of the food. But it was okay with me. They were there for me, and this is at least the thing that I could do as a thank you to them. It might not have been the best idea to eat there given the prices, but since it was a thank you gesture, I just let them decide what to eat. Once we sat down, the waiter that was super familiar with me came with the menu. Everyone looked through and just ordered one dish per person. That was fine with me. Everyone seemed to order what they liked, and I was pleased with that. Even the photographer said thank you. He was a family friend, so basically I considered him an uncle. Anyway, everyone seemed to be pleased with everything, except my adoptive mother. Well, this is great and all, but it's an experience. We should order more. Are you gonna order more and be able to finish them? Of course I would. It's your day, we should celebrate. Me, sure. So she asked for the waiter for the menu again, you know, with this snappy fingers. She looked through the menu and ordered most things that were exotic and pricey. The photographer/uncle just looked at me and asked if I could afford it. I told him not to worry, as long as everything gets eaten, I would be happy regardless. That was a blatant lie. I wanted to hit my adoptive mother with a plate. The orders finally came. There were a bunch of food my other family members wouldn't eat. They usually eat the local food. But this was on my adoptive mother's plate. Literally. She had to eat all of them. But of course not. She knew me and my cousin were the only people who liked the exotic food. So did she finish them? Frick no. Entitled mother, oh my god, I am so stuffed. Me, do you plan to finish the rest? No, but you can eat the rest, you know. Yeah, I'm full with just my plate. Why did you order more if you knew you wouldn't finish them? Come on, be the good host. We're here for you, don't spoil it for everyone. Are you serious? She knew I couldn't eat the rest because I would have to be waiting in the auditorium for about 5 hours without bathroom breaks. The uniform I had on was with a belt that had to be on tight, otherwise my skirt would fall off. If I ate a lot, I wouldn't be able to breathe. And she knew all of this, but still suggested that I should eat everything up anyway. So I asked the waiter to pack up the food for us. She asked if the food was up to everyone's satisfaction. Everybody else said yes, except my adoptive mother. Yeah, the food today was not that great. Try harder next time. You're smart enough for someone from your village. His eyes went livid, I swear. The dude knew me because I often went there and he would always treat me with kindness. He looked at me and back at her. I had to apologize for this woman's behavior and he said, I cannot believe you didn't finish everything, ma'am. No need to be honest. I judge from your size and I'm sure you're still hungry. My cousin heard that and choked on her water. My grandmother heard it and pretended not to. My uncle just giggled. My aunt just looked at the waiter in disbelief. My adoptive father nodded in agreement to the waiter, and my adoptive mother was just in shock. Hey, congratulations to the new graduate here. I will give you a discount today, the waiter said, and I was so grateful for that. Not only because 1, the discount saved my ass because I was about $150 for our plates, but he deducted the price down to $90. 2, the waiter went savage on my adoptive mother, and I could not be any more grateful for that. We left there afterwards, and everyone was full. I had more food to take home, and she instructed that I carry them since she ordered them for me. But bitch, I paid for them. My cousin saw it and told me not to worry. She helped me out with the rest. The rest of the day went okay. My entitled adoptive mother complained about anything that she could complain about. Everyone congratulated me once the ceremony was done. Can we just go home now? My feet hurt. I feel sick. That waiter totally ruined my day. Then we went home, and she still complained anyway. The end. I promise it's the last one. There are so many of them, and I just can't keep venting here. It's ridiculous. Thank you for the support on my previous posts. You guys are the best. And our next story was posted by user A Bad Redditor, titled, Entitled Mum calls my friend many racial slurs and reports us to the police. So I live in a small town which has an annual fair. My best friend and I were stoked to go. We bought tickets in advance and could not sleep. The day of the fair rolls around, and my friend and I drive to downtown. It's busy as crap, so we waited in traffic for 10 minutes. It was intense, and nobody was patient. When we finally got there, we immediately bought some water and guzzled them down. While we were guzzling them down, this woman that just radiates Karen walks up. Her kid, probably 4 years old, says that us guzzling is disgusting and we owe them our tickets. I was annoyed and told her no, and walked away with my friend. Next thing we know, this woman comes up right behind us and calls my friend an N-word. I got really heated and shouted at her to get the frick out. Well, this entitled brat starts running to find security and comes back with 2 guys. They asked us to explain. Keep in my mind, this fair is crowded and there is a crowd. We told the guard the story, but he really wasn't having it. They grabbed me and my friend. The people went crazy and told the guards what we said was true, and they let us go. The guards got heated and threw the lady and her kid out. The crowd was happy, and we had a good day at the fair. Alright guys, that is the end of the episode. Tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed those really big stories. They were quite crazy. If there's anything else you want to see, I'd be happy to take your suggestions on board. Anyway, leave me a comment, please do, because I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.